Hey everybody. So it's been a while since the last update, which was around August. Um, since then, there have been a lot of changes. The first obvious one is the view distance. It's much further now. Used to be around 128 meters, and now you can view over 16 kilometers without really any performance impact beyond what the sort of default performance impact is. Um, So right now the view distance is kind of short, just because it's easier to make things out with a sort of more compressed fog. But I can show you and go a lot further. There's not really a major performance impact. There's a slight impact to performance, but it's not too bad. Um, so the next thing that is kind of the big thing I've been working on is this sort of physics-driven character animation system. Like everything else, let me turn the clip distance back down. It's kind of easier to discern depth with a bit more fog. So the next thing I've been working on is this physics-driven character animation system. Like everything else, it's fully procedural. There's nothing imported. It doesn't use any polygons. It's all based off this sort of hybrid SDF ray marching, ray casting type thing. So throw a guy in here. So there's still, some issues. It's not really that polished. There's collision issues with the terrain. Right now it's kind of like hacked together. I'm using bullet physics, but the terrain actually uses its own custom collider. Which is formerly a collision mesh, which was a bit cleaner, but it had its own problems, particularly representing concave meshes. So now it doesn't use any sort of collision mesh. It's just based on the voxel data. So the characters, they blend together different poses. It's a pretty like typical animation system. There's these different types of attacks you can do. There's 4 different attacks, punches and swinging weapons and kicks and stuff. There's some kicks. So I'll throw a weapon in here. So the actually everything is sort of generated with this kind of same algorithm. The weapons, the characters, everything. So you can actually edit poses as the engine's running and save them and change things around. That goes for both the weapons and the characters. So, like for example, let's change his jump pose. So right now, this is what his jump kind of looks like. I can just make him do something crazy like bend way back. Save that, go right back in. Now when he jumps, he sort of bends backwards like this. So it's really easy to get this sort of instant feedback on whatever you're trying to animate or create. See how it plays out in the engine. So I'll fix that jump pose now. So that's better. So, like I said, you can edit both the characters and I'm back in the T pose here. So you can have both the characters and the weapons themselves. Actually, I should show editing the character limb size really quick. So So you can actually edit the sizes of the limbs. They use this kind of algorithm that blends between the sort of tangents and bitangents and normals at different radius and lets you produce a lot of different types of shapes. So it's you can make a lot of different shapes, both sort of more rounded organic shapes. You can actually make more harder edge shapes, like with this sword here. Just show you in a second. Let me revert this pose. So you can see, even as I reverted his pose, everything gets interpolated back, including the size of the shapes. So you can edit this weapon actually, like make this blade longer or shorter. As you change the length of something, it has to kind of regenerate the object, because all the joints and the physics object have to be recalculated. So there's a little snap as that's done. So it'll actually generate, correct collision mesh for this. Should do it anyway. So test this by hitting an object here. As usual, the collision isn't perfect, so it goes into the terrain right now a bit. So you can, there's some like really crude AI right now as far as different characters, so just throw some other characters and weapons on the ground, let them fight it out here. There's some different types of weapons here. Not doing a very good job at hitting each other. Right now the targeting is kind of poor because it's just playing out this animation pose. It actually does correct collision, like based on whether or not the weapon hits. So really, to fix it, you can kind of this is planned. It's not implemented yet, but you can sort of make things blend between the animation it's doing and achieving some sort of target. So, for example, it could play out a swinging animation, but make it target a specific area of another person's body, rather than just kind of blindly flailing in the air. Yeah, so let me turn on destruction right here. Normally I have it turned off because it's, if they're swinging at a bunch of stuff and hitting terrain, don't want it really randomly destroying it. It's more for demoing purposes, but I can show you can actually destroy the terrain here. The debris that gets generated is really simplistic, just a bunch of cubes right now. It's kind of like playing in one of those fun hits. Let me show you actually this, that everything is still solid. You can actually zoom in, you can actually take off the centering on this pose and kind of zoom in here. So it actually like has this really not anatomically correct meat and bone structure, sort of cartoonish. But you can see as you cut away, you can see these sort of insides. So I'm just gonna do a little fly around to kind of give you an idea of the scale of the world and show you some of the different terrain. So it's kind of hard to discern scale since I'm moving around so fast, but I can kind of give you an example of how far away this stuff actually is. So even though I just traveled that distance in a couple seconds, I can find a good place to drop somebody here. Might be kind of hard to navigate this terrain. Just dropped in there a bit deep again. There we go. So I'm just gonna kind of try and head back towards where I was. Might take a while. See, it's quite high up. I'm not even near sea level yet. So I'm just gonna zoom out just so you can see like the scale of this guy relative to the rest of the world here. So the next thing I want to show is these sort of building segments I have. I have more advanced like building system with templates and stuff. And there's only a couple shapes right now that'll kind of give you an idea. So first of all, like these segments will intersect each other and take out anything that's between them. So you can make kind of like more complex structures just by intersecting stuff. And just as well, you can put in like a doorway and punch a hole through a wall, or other types of intersections like that. So they put on a roof here. 2 roofs. There's the piece I'm looking for. I guess this one. So like, all the intersections aren't perfect yet. There's probably some bugs, but it kind of gives you an idea. There's like also some minor like clipping bugs with detecting when it's inside a certain volume. So all this stuff is solid, like everything else. Increases a bit. So yeah, and it generates collision for all this as well. So like you can even see like inside the walls, you can see all the bricks, the boards, the plaster, all of that stuff. And you can cut into it in real time as well. So I wanted to show some other stuff with the weapons. Let me drop a weapon here. So get this selected. So you can go through and edit different weapon types, and these are like all like pretty basic models. I just made these. I made each of these in literally, a couple minutes, so they're not like that great. There's a sword, axe, a mace, a hammer, a sort of trident or pitchfork thing, a spear. And this is just like a T-pose I use for generating a new weapon type. So, all these parts are you can resize and apply different parameters to. So, like, you can change the way that it interpolates stuff. Here, I'm making it like kind of grow as it goes up. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in terms of making like more diverse shapes. There's only about, I don't know, probably less than 10 parameters that you kind of tweak just using the mouse, holding down Controller Shift. So it's, anybody can do it just by experimenting. You can even, he'll figure out where the center of the handle is, when you resize it. So, yeah, you can see it just turned a spear into basically a sword. So, another thing is, kind of see more of the combat stuff. So, let's just drop some more characters in here, more weapons. Set these guys to chase me around. They have some like kind of like crude flocking AI that, even though it looks like they're grouped on each other, they could be even more like clustered, so it kind of ensures they keep a certain distance from each other. It does not, however, ensure friendly fire, so they're all hitting each other right now rather than attacking me. And if you hit another person's weapon, then it will it'll collide with that. That's the clanking sound you can hear. So because it has this precise collision, like it actually really matters the type of swing you do, because it's going to determine whether you hit them or not. So you can do a back swing, a forward swing. You get a different weapon here. Let me check this one. So you can do a swing, back swing, a sort of hack. Get a better view. Thrust. You can also do, so you do basically 4 different types of attacks for each thing. You do 4 punches, 4 kicks. You can do right or left side. Doesn't matter if you're holding a weapon or not. So different punches. This is like sort of backhand, a hook, jab, and an uppercut. So that's kind of like basic summary of the attacks. There's roundhouse. There's I guess you would call it actually this would be a roundhouse, and this is like a reverse roundhouse. The sort of nomenclature for that is all, it's kind of open to interpretation, I guess. There's just a kick. Let's get a better view. Sort of a front kick and the back kick.